Welcome to another episode of Burn Peak Express, and today we're gonna do something a little different, but kind of the same. So I have here my brand new hardtail, and in a recent video you saw me build it up, and we had some fun with it, and a lot of the parts on it are brand new, like for instance the bottom bracket, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to do a little test. So when it comes to the topic of bike washing, people get really heated. Anytime somebody's doing it on YouTube, there's somebody in the comments saying that they're doing it wrong, and a lot of it centers around blasting your bearings with high pressure water. Basically, the theory is that the water is going to wash dirt and sand into your bearings and put scratches and dents in it, and eventually your bearings are ruined. And to be fair, there is some truth to that. If you have one of those kind of old style bearing cartridges and you hose it down, you're probably gonna wash dirt into it. But modern mountain bikes have sealed bearings in the headset, in the bottom bracket, and I'm wondering if this theory needs to be updated. So today what we're gonna do is put all that to the test. We're gonna take my brand new hardtail with a brand new bottom bracket. We're gonna take it out to the new trail I just dug, Knob Deep. And it just rained for the last 24 hours. We're gonna ride the heck out of it. We're gonna get it completely covered in loam and dirt and mud. And then I'm gonna take my pressure washer and clean the whole bike down. Once we're done with that, we're gonna wait for it to dry, take the bottom bracket out onto the bench, take it apart, and see if any contaminants got inside of it. So right now my hardtail is very, very clean. It's brand new. There's maybe a couple of spots of dirt on it. Really, the tires are the messiest part. So this is a really good baseline. Take a good hard look at my bike right now. It's not gonna be this clean again until we hit it with the pressure washer. So what's happening here is something I discussed in the video about building this trail. As ruts form along the outside of the trail, they just keep pushing further and further down, and then eventually we're going right into these trees. So I'm gonna grab the hoe, do a little bit of work here to get it running for today, and then another day I'll really fix this up proper. All right, so by far not IMBA's definition of bench cut, but nice and flat over here, so I should be able to make this turn a little smoother without washing out. Somebody else maintains a trail, be it volunteers or whatever, don't go skidding around and kicking up roost. This is my trail, I maintain it. If a mud pit forms, I'm the one who's got to fix it. But if you do it to somebody else's trail, you're just creating work for them and it's not cool, so always think about that. So the bike is not that dirty at all because it's hero dirt today. It's as good as dirt gets. When it rains like crazy here, the dirt gets amazing. It's all holding together. It's just falling right off the bike. It got a little messy. We did a lot of riding, a lot of skating, a lot of kicking up roost. Let's get over to the wash station, plug in that pressure washer, and give her a go. Hey, little buddies! Ah, little huskies. Drums, why don't you greet me like that? Okay, so the people who are really particular about washing bikes, they recommend you do it like this. You put a light spray on it, then you use a brush, and you use some bike wash specific soap. I use car wash soap because it doesn't damage paint. You brush all the dirt loose, and then you use a light spray to get it off. That's the proper way to wash a bike. Now, what they don't want you to do is hit it with high pressure water. You shouldn't even do it near any part of your bike because it's gonna blast things into your bearings and all that. Nobody's advocating that you wash your bike with a pressure washer. And if you've never seen a pressure washer, I'm gonna demonstrate what it is and some of the problems with it. So the issue with a pressure washer especially is that there's a lot of different ways you can use one. There's ways you can use one improperly, and I'm going to demonstrate on a piece of wood what this thing can actually do. So I'm gonna take the pressure washer. So as you can see, we got this piece of wood nice and clean. We were using the pressure washer from a safe distance. Watch what happens if I get too close with it. we tore this wood up here. So could you imagine if you have a little paint chip on your frame and the pressure washer gets underneath that paint chip, it's gonna just start flicking paint up off of your bike frame, even if it's powder coated. So that's not good. With that said, I'm gonna be as careful as possible, use it from a safe distance, and see if we can get my bike really clean and not do any damage to it. So let's give it a go. All right, that seems to be working pretty well. I don't see any damage. Now I'm gonna get into some of the parts like this. Super sweet. Whoa, super clean. This is awesome. Whoa, look how clean this tire is. How am I not gonna wash my bike like this every single time? I don't know if I pressure washed it enough. I'd say she's clean. All right, let's turn her around and there should be a fresh batch of dirt that we didn't get to yet. Little dirt in the corner of my rev grip. Let me, pew, pew. Oh my God. I might have even damaged my rev grip. While we're at it, I didn't even remember that these are copper colored. All right, when this stuff dries, I'm gonna be looking fresh. So the bike is dry and a lot of other things are dry. First of all, the chain has absolutely no lubricant on it whatsoever. So if you were to wash your bike like this, you have to put chain oil back on the chain and the cassette. But otherwise, I want to give this bike an inspection and see if there's anything noticeably wrong with it right off the bat. No weird noises. Obviously, shifting and everything's working great. There's no muck in there to mess it up. Brakes are nice because the disc doesn't have any contaminants on it. We blasted that thing clean real good. The tires are like, you could eat off of them. I was pretty careful with the wheel bearings. Not so careful with the headset. And I was really not careful with the bottom bracket. I was just nuking the bottom bracket. This is awesome. Let's dig right in and see if we have any problems here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the chain and chain guard off so that we can spin the cranks without anything attached to it. That way we can listen. I can't hear anything, I can't feel anything. It's like super smooth. Let's take this off and give it a closer inspection. Okay, remember we just put these on last week and I remember greasing them. And yeah, the spindle is, yeah, it's just grease on here, real nice. So one thing I am noticing is I'm taking this off and there's water inside the frame and I don't know whether it would dry up or whether this water ingress would kind of sit there and eventually cause problems. So a lot of the times I'll work on my bike and I'll wash the bike thoroughly before I start working on it. So I've washed my bike and immediately taken my crankset off and I've never seen water inside of it. So that's notable, that's unique to blasting it with a pressure washer for sure. Let's take this bearing off. High quality sealed mountain bike bottom bracket bearing. It's got a little bit of water on it. I think that would evaporate. This one's really well sealed up. I don't think I got any sort of water in here. I can't even wedge a pick underneath it. I mean, when I say it's moving so smoothly, like there's no way any sort of grit got in here. So I think it's fine. I'm going to check my headset and see if any water got in there. And then we're gonna check something else. So we'll loosen our pinch bolts. Wasn't thinking it through. Definitely water on the headset. Is it enough to cause a problem? Is it gonna be an issue? I don't know. It will probably evaporate. There's just little water droplets, so you can see them here, and you can see them settling in there. Would washing your bike with a normal hose have these water droplets on your headset? I don't know, we didn't try. We don't really have a control on this experiment. There's actually a fair amount of water in every part of this headset. The bearing still seems really smooth, the grease is still all there. It looks like the dust seals do a pretty good job of keeping dirt and things out of your bearings, but the water most definitely gets in. So I'm gonna put this all back together and we're gonna check for one more thing. What I'm gonna check next is, did any water get inside my frame? There are holes for internal cable routing. I have a wireless dropper post, so this one's wide open. There's nothing covering it. Should probably do something about that. We're gonna just take this dropper post out. Wow, there is definitely water on the dropper post. I don't think it would damage anything, but worth noting. Doesn't seem like there's enough water where it would start dripping out. I'm gonna shine the flashlight in there, see what we're working with. Yeah, there's a little bit of water in there. I don't think it's anything we could really get with the camera, but I'm just looking down there and it doesn't necessarily look dry. If I were to just wash my bike normally, I think I'd probably, from now on, just take the seat post out and let the whole inside of the frame air out, because it looks like a little bit of water does get in. So what did we learn today? I would say that we learned that dangers of blasting your bike with water are way overstated. And I know that there are lots of different types of bikes. Some of them don't have sealed bearings. Some of them don't have that high a quality of parts, but I have a pretty average bottom bracket on here, pretty average headset, just what you'd find on a good mountain bike with sealed bearings, and everything seemed to hold up. Does that tell us anything about what would happen if you did this every day? No. Does it tell us what would happen if it was really covered in sand and you were just hitting it directly? No, not necessarily, but I think we did learn a few things. And when I can ride on my local trails, I go through creek crossings this deep, and my bottom bracket and pedals and wheel bearings and everything just get completely submerged. And the worst thing that can possibly happen, the absolute worst thing, is you have to replace your bearing. I, for one, will probably not be using the pressure washer every time I wash my bike, but if I find myself in a situation where I have to go to one of those self-car washes and blast it down, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. I think we got her.